in high school, I wasn't necessarily one of the popular kids. And I know some of you are probably giggling right now because you're like, yeah, Katie, we figured that out. But it's something that I actually strived for so much. I would change the way I looked. I would change my hair, change my clothes. I wanted to be just like the other kids that had the popular status on them. I would change who I hung out with so I could gain this, the status of those popular kids. I would even change how I talked. I would change the words that I used and how I talked about others in order to gain the attention of those that I knew would be able to put me up to their level, up to the level that I thought would make me happy, at the level that I thought would fulfill something that I thought I was missing. And it was finally in my junior year that I realized that I have become someone that I wasn't proud of. I've become this version of myself that I was never told to in church, and that I was told that, we want to be different. Christ asks us to be different. And you see, being liked is something that we all want in life. We all want to be that friend that everyone looks at and is like, oh my gosh, they have their stuff together. They know what they're doing in life. I want to be them one day. We all strive to be that person. But the thing is, when we strive to become that person, there are the cool things to do and the not so cool things to do. Like, it is cool or acceptable to lie to your friend in order to save your reputation. But it's not cool and it's not acceptable to tell the truth in order to come clean with that. It is cool or is acceptable to talk about your friend behind their back in order to make yourself cooler. But it's not cool or it's not acceptable to tell others to stop talking about that person or tell them it's not okay to talk behind their back. And you see, what this world tells us we should be like is not what Jesus exhibits in his life in the Bible. If you guys go ahead, and I want you guys to turn to Mark 2, verse 15 through 17. And this is a part of Jesus' life where he just called Levi, a tax collector, to follow him. And he completely drops everything and he follows Jesus in this moment. And in verse 15 through 17, we see the way that Jesus acts around sinners. And it says, "And as he reclined at table in his house, many tax collectors and sinners were reclining with Jesus and his disciples, for there were many who followed him. And the scribes of the Pharisees, when they saw that he was eating with sinners and tax collectors, said to his disciples, 'Why does he eat with tax collectors and sinners?' And when Jesus heard it, he said to them, 'Those who are well have no need of a physician, but those who are sick. I came not to call the righteous, but sinners.'" And this is one of my favorite parts of Jesus' story, because this is the moment that you see that Jesus sees the need. He doesn't go after those that have high status or that could help his status go up, but he goes for the sinners and the tax collectors, knowing they need him in their life. He understands that there's a bigger task at hand. There's a bigger task there that his purpose is bigger than what the Pharisees really see. And Jesus wasn't completely focusing on the Pharisees because he saw that these tax collectors and these sinners and the people that were just lost needed him the most. They needed the effort in their lives with him. He needed to be there and show them their worth and their value, and showing them that they were loved regardless of what everyone else saw in them. In my junior year of high school, I really started to see that I was being super selfish with myself. I was being selfish in the mindset that I wanted to know what people could do for me. So I refocused. I rewired my thinking and my habits, and I started thinking, what can I do for others? What can I do in my life to show others that they are loved, they are wanted, exactly how Jesus showed me? And that's exactly what I did. I started loving others exactly like Christ did me. You see, it wasn't the cool thing to do to read your Bible at school or even at a coffee shop or anything like that. It's not cool to tell your friends about Jesus because they might think you're weird. They might think you're different. They might say, that's a little, I don't want to hear that. Like, that's odd. Why would I want to hear about a guy that saved your life? I don't want to hear about that. And see, Jesus changed my life in this way because no one looked at me and said, she's the cool and popular kid. But they did look at me and say, you know what? She loves fiercely and she cares so much. Because as a Christian myself and those that have accepted God into their lives, into their hearts, we are called to a way different standard than this world sets out for us. We are called to the standard of we are supposed to go against the grain of this world. We're supposed to just all the levels that we think we have to achieve. God says, no, I already got you. We are supposed to stand out and not just blend in. We're supposed to stand out in the way that we talk, in the way that we love, in the way that we care for people, and the actions that we have. We're not supposed to be of this world. We're just supposed to live in it and show the love of Christ while we do that. We are called to be the outcasts. We are called to be the weirdos of this world because it's exactly what Jesus was. He sat with the sinners and the tax collectors, knowing that no one approved of them. But he said, I love you regardless. And that's exactly what we were supposed to do. We are supposed to stand up for those that cannot stand up for themselves. We are supposed to love those that don't believe they're lovable. This is what Christ did. This is what Jesus did in Mark 2, and showing those that he does not come to call the righteous, but sinners. And like I said, people might not look at you and say, oh, you're so cool, or oh, you're so popular. You hang out with the right kids. Like, oh, I love your Instagram. You just seem like you have your whole life put together. I want them to look at us as Christ believers and God and having a relationship with God and saying, man, you shine brighter than anyone I've ever seen. Man, you just seem like you have so much joy, even though the trials of this world have been so much. Why do you have so much joy? And this week, as you guys go into small groups, I challenge you. Yes, Katie's doing another challenge. I know, so surprising. But I challenge you guys to look at your reputations and ask yourself the question, is my reputation of this world or of God? And then I want you guys to ask yourself the same question, another question, and saying, am I willing to drag my worldly reputation through the mud in order to represent Christ? I know you guys are gonna have an amazing time in small groups. Don't hesitate to ask your leaders questions. They've all been through the same things that we have. And that I just pray for you guys every week, and I hope you guys are doing well. Thanks.